Dina, which department, which research group are you?
From physics, PhD candidate in physics.
Uh-huh.
And I'm working on experimental biophysics with Dr. Yonki Choi.
Oh, okay. Okay. And
I'm doing single molecule forces spectroscopy.
which one?
Single molecule forces spectroscopy
Mm-hmm.
using the AFM,
Okay.
atomic force microscope. Even it's experimental, but looking in the literature, I see a lot of research related with the computational work, trying to understand and to characterize the forces between two molecules and between the receptor and ligand. So it was interesting to.
I see.
I'm interested in that because of that. And I heard also your teaching is really interesting. So. I'm excited.
How do you know?
Previous students.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So with whom of the previous students did you interact?
It's two people. One of them is Eric Hobby.
Huh?
One of them is Eric Hobby.
From where? Who from? Salim?
Yeah, Salim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He really encouraged me to take the course.
Hello, Cameroon. We do not hear you yet. I'll check how to bring the voice. Test. 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 Cameroon, would you please say something?
No, Professor, it's fine.
Not yet. Would you please say something once again? Cameroon?
No.
Okay.
Should I?
Now I hear you. Everything is good. Hello, Professor. Oh, hello, Stephen. Very happy to see you. Thank you for deciding to join. And who has just joined? I didn't see the name. Oh, Sarah.
Hello, Professor Klein. How are you?
Oh, very good, very good, very good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So we expect maybe one more person, but
I think we are 5.
No, there should be 5.
So 3 here. 2.
No. Okay. Okay, yeah. Then everyone is here. Very good. So today just relax. We'll not do anything serious. I just need to chat, make sure everyone is happy and we have good plan. So I'm very happy that your schedule allows you to visit the Wednesday evening, which is a main part of the course. The rest is auxiliary. But to match the 3 credits requirement, I need to. I'm not like really dying to read the lecture, but I think I have to. And by now, from this doodle poll, I did learn that Tuesday lunchtime and Thursday lunchtime only 2 out of 5 can join. Maybe you can make suggestions if you prefer some other time, like maybe Friday anytime or Wednesday. We should decide it, and I'll probably offer the first lecture tomorrow at whatever, from 1 to 2, right? From 2.
Will they be recorded too? Because
oh yes, it will be recorded, and it was recorded for several years in the past.
Okay.
So you're not missing much by not coming, and I'm not like pressurizing you to do it, but from the other classes and other years, one-to-one interactions sometimes facilitates the warmer communication and better understanding of each other. I'm fine either way. There were excellent results for some people on Zoom, but I want to keep doors open, and maybe if each of you send preferred time for the lectures, you can do so. If I try to squeeze all activities into Wednesday night, we all will be like jammed lemons. It will be not. Even if I shorten the lectures, it will be too much new information together with practice. There is no goal in the course to become big mathematicians and to derive a lot of equations. But there will be some equations that we need to get acquainted with for a very simple reason. You all are in graduate school, and as you go through this path, there is a high chance that you need to write your thesis, and there is a high chance that you need to write publications. I know that some research groups, some advisors set up the following procedure. The graduate student collects data and the advisor writes the paper. It's possible, it's also productive, but I want to help you in the case if you go on the extreme case when you are completely, when advisor advises and you both collect data and write the paper. So if you are writing research papers and I apologize for that I'm not reading well-developed sentences like a poem, but I think it is okay if we have informal communications. So if you're looking forward, maybe some of you are already experienced publishers and you have some research accomplishments, which would be really great. But if you're looking, and then you understand everything that I'm going to say. But the situation is that publication is kind of sport. It's a competitive process, and there are reviewers who are deciding whether to let your paper go or turn it down. And one of the criteria for getting through this reviewing process is to, even if you do applied research of materials in some processes, one of the criteria is that reviewers recognize you as a part of their community. So if it is a community of computational chemists, you may want to show that you are well versed and experienced in equations appropriate for these computations, or at least you are able to pretend that you're well versed in these equations. So I set up a goal for myself to bring maybe a survey to help you to get acknowledged with main equations, and as a minimum you will be able to type them in your future thesis and paper, or copy paste from right points and explain symbols. So it is on the one hand, so that if you publish something, reviewers will immediately say, oh yeah, it is a well-versed computational chemist who knows what to do. I trust the result. On the other hand, I'm aware, and I know that some of you are reading research papers and maybe doing some computations. But main practical goal is to get skills in a couple of software packages and be able to model properties of the materials or processes. I really appreciate that those of you who are online switch on the cameras. It's a really helpful process, because even if you're not telling anything, I'm sorry that I'm in the bus, but if you show some mimics, I can understand if you are following me or I'm saying something wrong or something that you do not follow. So it's we can go through this course with I'd say with mutual pleasure and with ease. So practical things. I have a keen curiosity to learn about research projects that each of you are interested to do, and maybe you can tailor narration of the course and practical things to match your needs. So in some sense, it will be a set of skills that will hopefully help you to address properties of materials that you're looking at, or processes that happen in the materials. Not everything is possible. We are not in the ideal world, but I'll try to be as close as possible. And on Wednesdays, it will be a relief from equations. So we will try to run some software and download data, maybe put them into PowerPoints or Word files. I will repeat most of things that I'm telling today through the course, but maybe you need to confirm that inside yourself that you made the right decision, that it is a right course, that you do not want to drop it, or indeed you want to drop it. So I'll make a brief overview of what to expect. We will do a little of homeworks. They will be not hard, and for like graduate students are elite part of the intellectual part of the globe. It will be not hard at all. And the main through the course there will be about 4 times when you present. So presentations also, do not worry about them, they will be short. So 5 people, 1 hour lecture will chop, so no more than 10 minutes each presentation. And 3 times there will be presentations on the skills related to the software. And the reason to do these presentations is that there are a chance of miscommunications. Maybe you do not like the style I'm presenting. Maybe something is missed because of your hard schedule. And when we will have research protocols for doing this and that procedures, if attendees of the course learn little portion and then present it to the rest, it will be very unbiased style, and the rest of the class can learn from the peer, and then you will strengthen your knowledge and skills. And we will not go over tons of skills, but some minimal, how to say, arsenal will be something that you hopefully will be fluent and flexible to use it. And at the end of the course, maybe last 3 weeks, last 4 weeks, we'll do a mini research projects where you will try skills from the course towards projects of your interest. And of course, I will be ready to offer you something that may look interesting for you, but the best idea if you design your project yourself. And the cream of the cream, the very best idea is that if you find a way to connect the major research project that your advisor requests from you, and we'll maybe chat one-to-one or briefly chat during the class, and we formulate a computational model that will complement your main research, and you add results that later on you will be able to add to your thesis or to your publications that you do for your major activity. So this is a goal and a plan. I cannot promise that it will work 100% to full extent to everyone, but I'll try my best, and with some probability it was working in previous years. So the software and probably we will not do anything practical today. I'll just chat, but you'll set up your, how to say, vision of the course, what to expect and how to tailor your efforts and time. I understand that you are busiest people on the planet, and probably it is not your major wish to spend all your time on doing homeworks or reading something. So ideally, you'll spend all the time in class and maybe like half an hour outside of the class to recall something or quickly go over some homeworks or run some jobs. There is a little thing that some of you, I'm sure, are aware of, and for some of you it will be interesting point of curiosity. So we all live in the very computerized world. Like today's, the cheapest cell phone of today works better than best supercomputer in the mid-60s for the globe. So we can do a lot of useful computations. But by the state of art, the desktops and cell phones and personal computers are not the most productive facilities, as you can imagine. So there, if you are ever purchasing or just using equipment, you know, like there are CPUs which are counted by a number of cores and like frequency. And if you were following it for several years, you notice that the frequency in the single CPU, which means how many operations per second it does, the clock speed, is not going above 4 gigahertz for the last 20 years. It was like 2, 3, 4, but never went up. So there are some limitations. So single core cannot do much. And until we have quantum computers, it is not expected to be much quicker. But there is a way that I'm not the first who tells it to you. You know that if one has multiple cores, then one can just chop the problem and do it on several computerized brains. And regular laptops have like duo, quadro, maybe like 16 cores or whatever. But by now we cannot go to like 200 cores in one desktop or laptop, or it would be too expensive for a single user. So by matter of fact, the big organizations like national labs and universities or banks invest money in purchasing like racks of multiple. They do not call. They do not look like tower desktops. They look more like pizza boxes that are stuffed in like 30 steel pizza boxes in one rack, 30 in another one, and they're connected by Ethernet or fiber optics. And then there is a master node that controls call them. So such data centers with clusters of multiple computers is what is standard trend to use for computation. And of course, we can run some very simple educational jobs on desktops or small towers, but for things that would be related to your productivity, to your component, to your research, one needs to attempt to use something competitive on a world scale. So in the labs, we will try to get skills to operate with supercomputers. And just logically from the idea that we do not have supercomputer in this room, right? To those of you who are in the office, your offices or at homes, it is also not very likely that you have a supercomputer in your bathroom or whatever. So we need to connect to a supercomputer that is somewhere like here at the university or maybe in the national lab. So we will need to get practice in communication software. Same as we use Zoom to communicate to each other. We use, until recently, everyone was happily using Twitter to communicate with each other. Same between people. There are similar, in somewhat similar formats to communicate between human and a supercomputer. So in some sense, it is like a tweet. You just open, or like a chat between people. You open a window and type some commands and supercomputer answers. Sometimes it is similar for human language, sometimes it is different, but this is a little different style to mouse operated Windows or Microsoft. So this style of interacting with supercomputers was designed and put into business in 70s, and it was already well-developed technology. So people are using it because transmitting text is much cheaper than transmitting graphical information and telling, hey, supercomputer, what is your menu? I want to click on this button. It is possible today, but it delays even our fast internet. So we will learn some basic commands. Although it may sound old-fashioned and ridiculous, but it is kind of a standard. And there will be several remote facilities that we will operate. By the way, Steven is a system administrator of one of these facilities. So we have to be nice to him. It will be at his complete power to disable access to these facilities if we displease him by anything.
Please don't break it.
Yeah. So the little computer, which is it is super nice, but it is not a supercomputer. It is just a little server here in chemistry department. We will use it as maybe as a proxy to access bigger facilities. Another thing I want to just inform you ahead of time. It would be great if we all are independent from a local computational environment in the following sense. Using the stationary desktops here in the class is really good. Typically, they are on the wired internet, which is quicker. One may install there something that works better, but then it is too much attached to one environment. But if our main work will be on remote computers, we should be able to use any terminal anywhere in the world and do the same thing. So if you bring in your personal laptop, it is quite a good idea. and then you can create your personal environment that is comfortable for you, and then you will be independent on whether you are today in the class, tomorrow at home, or opposite. And if your schedule on the weekdays is completely busy and you want to submit a computational job during the weekend, then you can do it from home, being independent, and you can continue doing it after finishing the class. So one of the pieces of software that is that helps to connect to remote computers is Mobxter. And I'm just giving heads up, when we meet next Wednesday, we all will practice it. And it is completely free. One doesn't need to install it, especially if you are in a public station. You can just download and run it right away. And Mobxter allows old-fashioned text communication with remote computer, plus it allows tunneling of graphical information. If there are applications with clicking the mouse, it will allow it as well. So probably I'll try to send you the links so that you may try it even before we meet next Wednesday. In addition to Mobxter, which is like not ideal, but it is rather universal, there are multiple communication tools like PuTTY on Windows PC, and Terminal if any of you is using Apple Mac. So they all look like a black screen appears and you type some commands. So it is what we will be doing next Wednesday. I recommend to start with Mobxter, and I'll try to like sit near you or connect to whatever you're doing behind your terminal and debug if some problems appear. But just sharing plans. So what else? Maybe I already mentioned about the homeworks and projects and formulas. What to expect from lectures? What are the content? So I'll probably offer the first one tomorrow from 2 to 3, whatever was mentioned. At least 2 of you are able, and then I'll wait for your emails when I'll try to like find the best match, and feel free to offer some exotic times if your schedule is really busy. So you'll find a way, and as a backup, you'll just watch the recordings. But in the lectures, there will be 4 chapters in ascending level of complication. The 3 chapters are needed to complete the project. The 4th chapter will be more advanced chapters for your education, because during the last months you will be already involved into the project. So the last chapter is an interesting thing, but there will be no time to both practice and employ it. So the chapters will be the definition of molecule and material, and geometry optimization, molecular mechanics. So how to learn if the like what is a model, what is atomistic model of a molecule or material, and which geometry does it take, which algorithms and softwares allow to find right configurations. So it will take about 3 weeks. Then the second chapter will be quite useless for any practical things, but it is an important cornerstone of education not only for our class, but for anyone in STEM. So it will be hard-to-fork theory, which it is not used in modern as a standalone piece in any practical computations by today, but it is one of the theories for electronic structures, for like energy levels, which can be derived and explained in all tiny details, because all other theories are too complicated to learn them in details in class. And the third chapter will be so-called density functional theory, which you probably have heard about. So it is a workhorse for science and engineering, which is not very expensive. It is not very precise, but it is quite inexpensive, and it allows to assess properties of a lot of useful materials for bio applications, for like electronic applications, and it is something that really helps our civilization to go forward. And in the last 3-4 weeks in the lectures, we will speak about excited states, what happens if one shines light or ignites things so that everything get excited. So I think I covered major plans, and soon I plan to share the syllabus where same information will be in a typed format if you care about it. So probably you have some questions.
I have a comment. So in the doodle that you sent, I think the times shifted 1 hour later. So in my doodle, I can see most of us put from 5 to 8, and except one student from 6 to 8. So we share from 6 to 8, I think.
Oh, so from 6 to 8, everyone is able.
Yeah, I can show you. So,
okay, let me see.
So this is how it is here. So this is from 5. So I don't know.
Yes, it's my mistake. I miscounted. Therefore, I like computation with computers. Okay, yeah, thank you. So I can safely plan on starting at 6, and everyone is able to come.
So we have now Wednesdays from 6 to 8.
I made reserved it to 9, but I think we will be done by 8 for sure.
Yeah. So and we still have 1 hour left during the week.
So we need 2 meetings. So the lectures. We need two
2 hours lectures.
Yes, and yes, and this 2-hour lectures, will be much more comfortable for all of us, for you and for me, if they will be in different days. So even if I try to deliver information quicker, by human nature, it is easier to take a little piece and digest. They will be like logical blocks, and for me, it will be not a big problem to chat for like 2 hours in a row, but it will be less optimal. I look forward to your emails, and I'll try to find constructive solution. The labs are key part.
So I cannot attend the
you will not lose the course. You will watch it at your time. Why do I need this hours in addition to just follow whatever is in the books as a course? I will be given announcements.
Yeah.
Because
generally, I think for me it will be okay between 9 to 10, but I see like most of it.
It's not a big problem for me to collect your opinion and maybe do another doodle poll if it will be too much divergent. We'll figure it out. We were doing it in the previous years. Like 2 years ago, we were meeting every 3 times, but it was from 6 p.m. each day. like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 6 to 7 or whatever. So I'm open. Just please first send me emails. What would be your preferred time, and then I'll try to digest and process it so that everyone will stay happy.
Yeah, I think it's maybe we can do another doodle for the 2 hours. I think it would be easier.
If yeah, I'll do it. But maybe you can first.
But for me, I misunderstood. I just see from 5 to 8 in the schedule, so I thought it's just 3 hours.
No, it was a glitch on the official scheduling. Okay. Some other questions?
All the material.
Yeah, please.
So will you send us like
Syllabus.
slides or
Yes.
for the material, or we should, because you didn't mention any textbook or.
I will recommend textbooks, but
You don't like the textbooks more than the slides. It's better, but
slides.
I
I agree. If some of you like textbooks, I'll send recommended books. But it is.
if you have material like.
There are materials. There are materials, and I was collecting them a little bit from each textbook to make it like short and.
Yeah, that's it.
Another reason for the lecture time classes for the presentations. They will be administered during the class time because the labs are more for practical activity. I do not want to sacrifice practice time because it from the feedback from previous generations of students, it's they were writing in their SROI that it is the best part of the class and it is something that one can take home. We can maybe, if some material is not going easy, we can use 2 labs instead of 1 to pick up some concept. But we shouldn't use it for anything except practical computation. The lectures are more flexible. If we miss one or 2, it's not a big deal, and we can use lecture time for presentations and such. So here is my vision. Anything, maybe not questions, maybe comments or concerns? So I've already learned a little bit about Lena and Boston. I know from my previous life something about research interests of Stephen, but I do not know about Sarah and Cameroon. If you do not mind, can you just briefly tell what are your research interests and projects that you work on or plan to work on for your graduate projects?
For me, at this step, I'm working on the modeling of the clay using molecular dynamic.
Okay, so you are with Dinesh Kati?
No, with Dr. Benji.
Okay.
Benji Shah.
Benji Shah, okay. So what do you do with clay? Do you put some biological polymers or just water?
At this step, just clay itself, but I have planned in future to add some polymer to it to make a clay nano composites.
Okay, very interesting. I am aware about this research project and at NDSU. Yeah, thank you for sharing it. I remember it is a part of a big project and big proposal that I see it as related to, it is formulated as more medical application, but for growing living cells. But I see it can grow into engineering of cyborgs for like Terminator, for like in interface between living tissues and contacts. Really cool. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And Cameroon, do you have some research area in mind?
Professor, I'm a new PhD student, so I joined in this spring semester.
Uh-huh.
Professor, I'm new PhD student.
Okay, I see. I see.
So I will start to work with Professor Winji. So me and Sarah, we are in same group.
Okay.
So still my research work is not decided yet. We will decide it later.
I see. I see. So you are open to you're waiting until your advisor will suggest interesting project.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I do not have any plans for the rest of the class, but if you have some suggestions or questions, I'm open. I'm not in a rush, so feel free to ask now or send questions by emails.
I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not seeing anything on Blackboard. Is there not going to be anything on there?
You guys are so smarter than myself. I'm here in DSU since 2015. I cannot learn how to use Blackboard.
Okay.
I communicate things by email.
Totally fine. I was just curious.
I know what is Blackboard. I know how to log it in, and I did this Skype communication, not Zoom connections through it, but it's my maybe top of my intellectual ability. But I do have a YouTube channel where all lectures from previous years are recorded.
Okay, cool.
So I can maybe I can send either links to all lectures or maybe only one of them, and you can just see them rolling one after another.
I was going to ask what your channel's name was.
It's my like first and last name without period, as a single word. So if there are no, well, let's do this as.
For tomorrow, we will have the class at 1 to 2.
Tomorrow, let me look on this. So from yes, I see there are 2 attendees from 1 to 2.
We can decide.
Yes, and the first lecture, basically, I delivered what was meant for the first lecture today. I maybe will go a little bit more and start some showing some slides, but if you miss it tomorrow, do not worry. It will be maybe warm up.
Or just by Zoom, it's okay.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm fine either way. Okay, so more questions 1, more questions 2, more questions 3. No questions. Okay, so let me announce end of the formal meeting. You're welcome to depart or disconnect, but I'll sit here for a few minutes more just in case if you develop more questions. Okay. See you tomorrow to those who is able to meet, and I look forward to read your emails with suggestions for lecture time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Gillen?
Yes?
As I've probably, you may have heard from me in the past or from Satyana, this is my cat.
Perfect, perfect. It is not
affectionate.
It's not first time when I see it.
Ow.
I was noticing it the whole time.
Yeah, it's a really great compliment to the class. Please, maybe for everyone else, I encourage to come in person, but for you, I encourage you to stay at home because it is the only way to bring a cat into the class.
Our new mascot.
Right, right.
Right, now I remember. You saw her last 2 springs ago, actually. Right. I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you, Steven.
Have a good rest of your night.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Cameron, for.
Professor, can
yes?
I can I speak with you? Because Professor, I'm from Bangladesh and I don't have enough background in this part, like simulation and this modeling part. I don't have enough knowledge, so I don't know how to start these things. For me, it's really really difficult since I think everyone's know the modeling, but yeah, I did something like I just complete my bachelor degree, then from that here I'm come here to pursue my PhD study. So you can understand that I have not much knowledge in modeling. I just did MATLAB.
It is absolutely perfect. Do not worry. There are no requirements for this class. I designed it for a very broad audience, and it is this class is offered to both graduate and undergraduates with the same material. So I have no doubts that you will be able to pick all materials and all skills.
Okay. So you most of the every time you share your video on YouTube, right?
Yes. So there is absolutely no point of worry. So if
Okay. So, Professor, another question that yeah, in your course, those software are not too hard, right?
no, it is. I never. Well, if there will be some difficulties, I'll help.
Okay.
And I'm teaching this course maybe for 7th or 8th time. First time I did it in 2011, and I do not have a single instance of a person willing to take it and not able to. So it is if you invest in regular effort, you will succeed.
Actually, Professor Winji suggested me this course. He, Professor, my supervisor Winji, he suggested me this course that he said that if you able to learn from this course, then that will be great for your research work.
Yes, yes. I really appreciate your advisor recommend you this course, and people who were taking this course in previous years, substantial part of them were able to prepare and publish a peer review paper based on the in-class project. So
my research my research work is not still is not he didn't say it's not decided yet, but maybe I will start to work on polymer composite.
very good, very good. You will need to find come up with an idea probably by the April 1st. If you have an idea about research project by April 1st, then it will be sufficient time to make the project portion of the class and
Okay.
get a great success. So you have like 2.5 months to decide.
Okay. Okay, Professor. Okay,
Okay.
Professor. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. I'm closing.